I get a little weepy when I talk about this sometimes. So yeah, I think you'll see why. I'm going to share my screen here if it works. Last year, we went to over 80 cities across the central, eastern, and southern states. And this year, August and September, we'll be going to the western states. We're personally based in Golden, Colorado, just outside of Denver. So the goal of our going around the country is to do pastor appreciation events with ministries that would like to see that happen for the pastors in their community and area. And then also wherever I can, I do radio and TV interviews. Why is this important? Let's just take a look at pastors in America. These are kind of the hidden facts and stats a lot of people wouldn't necessarily realize, but they're very real. 80% of pastors serve in churches of under 100 people, 55% in churches under 50 people. So that's the most common. Most of them are working 50 to 70 hours a week, plus their spouses add another 10 to 30 hours a week. 50%, half of them make less than $50 a year in our research, and 60% receive no retirement or medical care benefits. COVID has caused a lot of church tensions and attendance declines. Every decision in the last couple of years led to somebody or some group being upset. Didn't matter what the decision was, somebody wasn't happy with the decision. Many are feeling very unappreciated, and reports are that more and more pastors are considering quitting. So the work we do is really vital. And what's the bigger picture beyond the tour? Let me share that with you. We're trying to lead a movement, Bless Your Pastor movement, and we've been doing this since 2019. And we have grant funds to do it until 2024. And what we have are very simple materials for churches to access for free. And it's called Easy as 1, 2, 3 to Bless Your Pastor and church staff. And then I wrote a little flyer based on my being a pastor. I was a pastor in Colorado, and my church loved me very, very well. And I wrote a little flyer, 50 ways to bless your pastor and staff. And so all we ask Christians and church leaders to do is, and mainly through the media interviews, is get those free materials. And in the last few years, we've had 2,500 churches participate. We ask them to take an appreciation, we ask them to distribute the 50 ways list, and they do that. We ask them to take an appreciation offering for their pastor, and we've raised over 1.5 million in offerings for pastors and staff. Average is about $440 or so. We have had $600,000 in gift card money that we've been able to give away to pastors. If a church participates, we've been able to give their pastor an Amazon gift card. And this year, that gift card will be $200. So that's the big picture of what we're doing nationwide, all over the country and through the media. And Lilly Endowment in Indianapolis is funding it, and it's for all Christian churches. So we're not denomination specific. Any Christian church in America can participate. So whether they're evangelical or mainstream or independent, they can participate. All right, we just got another quote yesterday from Dana Parker. She's Love Inc., Heart of Florida, and Love Inc. National Board Member. And she said the Bless Your Pastor Appreciation event was better than we could have imagined. The opportunity to bring our local pastors together for a grant-funded meal, free gifts, encouragement, and prayer was a wonderful blessing. If this event comes your way, jump on the opportunity. With minimal planning, we had a fabulous time. And we did not pay her to say all that, but that was a very nice quote. So grateful for her endorsement. These are just a couple of pictures from last year. We met in radio station buildings. We met in church fellowship halls. I think we met in one restaurant and wherever people can gather. And they were as small as last year. Some were done on a very short notice. I think our smallest was 12, and our largest was about 75. A big hit at these events is we do give away some restaurant gift cards, and people do love getting gift cards. And so we had a few happy pastors there with some of the gift cards. So, but basically it works. We have up to $1,000 for the meal. So we would like to see at least 20 or more pastors, and spouses can also come if they're available. But at the end of the event, you literally just give us your receipts up to $1,000 and we'll write a check. So that's how the reimbursement works. I'll have 5 restaurant gift cards along, and we'll kind of announce those at the end of the event, and we'll give those out to 5 pastors. We have materials that are worth over $100. They're pastor resources. Over here on the right, you'll see some of them. These are things I've written or created. I'm the author of Moody Publishers, Experiencing God as Your Provider. There's a devotional, Pray for Your Nation. There's the best-selling generosity devotionals in the world that I've written. There are those. I've got a legacy organizer, a course. And these things are for pastors and their congregations. So everything we give pastors, they can use in their congregation. We're not selling anything. We're gifting pastors these resources, and they are free to use them for themselves and give away to individuals or for small groups, Sunday school. But they get all of that content and some printed materials. All the speaker costs and travel are covered. So they're like someone the other day said, well, Brian, do we need to house you or anything? No, you don't need to house us. You don't need to give me anything. All my costs are covered. We will provide a promotional graphic you can use to invite pastors, and we'll provide an online sign-up form to just make it easy for them to register to attend the event. All right. So those are the things that are covered in the event. So what does a typical program look like? The program is as far as when in a day, it's when do you want to do it? You can do a breakfast, you can do a brunch, you can do a lunch, you can do a dinner. We've done all of them, and all of them have worked. The biggest attendance we've gotten has been an evening event, but any of those work. So it's whatever is convenient for those that are hosting. But kind of the order of it is guests arrive and get a name tag in their gift packets. As a host group, you would welcome and pray for the meal, and and add anything you want to say to them, anything you want to share about your ministry. You're able to do that. There's a meal and fellowship. I say optional. Some of the groups had somebody else do some speaking, or they had some special music. That's completely optional. In many places, that was not the case, but in some cases, it was the case. So in one case, we had a mayor, and he talked for 10, 15 minutes. I know another group here in Love Inc. In, I think, California, they have a Christian sheriff, and they think they want to have him say something. We've had some people, have special music, which is fine. So there's about 20 minutes of time. If you want to do anything, you can just slot that in there, and it's yours if you want it. If you don't want it, it's okay. I will bring a message, and my message will be God's love and generosity for pastors, and it's kind of a message of how does God provide when the paycheck isn't always big enough. And I really kind of unpack for pastors as a way to encourage them on how does God take care of you, and how does he care for your family. And there'll be a lot of personal stories along the way on what that looks like. I took a $70,000 pay cut to become a pastor when I was 45. So I kind of walk the talk and and know the journey. And so I really try to inspire them that way. And my wife, my wife and I are both widowed. My wife died of cancer, and my first wife died of cancer, and my second wife, her husband, was in the hospital for 4 years before he passed away. He became a quadriplegic, was on a ventilator, and she'll talk about a 5-minute testimony about how important the pastor and the spouse were to her in those difficult 4 years. Then we'll announce 5 winners of the gift cards, and we'll do something like the newest pastor in the community, the oldest pastor in the community, or the longest serving pastor in the community. Whoever's birthday is closest to the date. We'll just kind of pick up some random facts, and we'll give away the gift cards. And then at the end of the time, we'll have the pastors kind of break in groups of 2 or 3 and pray for each other. Generally, it's about a 2-hour window of time with about 30 minutes. The doors open about 30 minutes ahead of time. So people can come in and visit and chat before kind of things get underway. But that's kind of, it's a pretty basic program, but it's friendly, it's informal, and it's encouraging and uplifting from, what we're being told by the people that have done it. And we've done a total of 20 different events with pastors the last year with appreciation meals and other kinds of things we did for them. So here's where, so we'll start in Denver, and we'll just kind of we're going to Salt Lake, make our way up into Montana. So the gold stars are roughly where some of you are located, if I got the star correct. So we got Montana, a couple things in Montana, three things in Washington, one thing in Oregon, 3 in California at the moment. But we're working on more. San Jose just expressed some interest, so there'll be another one down here in this area here. But that's what we're working with right now. As far as people said, yeah, we'd like to know more. And what we do is we just make a graphic, put your information on it, your logo, your date, day, time, location, and then we'll give a link to RSVP. And I'll show you that here in just a moment. So when you send that out, share my screen again, they'll go to a page like this, RSVP for Pastor Appreciation Meal. So but right now it says blessingstour.online/RSVP. And this was from last year. So we would have a number of events listed on here. So Love Inc. Heart of Florida, they had a lunch on Thursday, October 14th. And it said where it's at, and then the doors open and what time it was going to, and then they just click the link. They register for themselves or any other pastoral staff or spouses. So they put in their name, their position, their church name, city, zip, email, mobile number, church size, web address, and then anybody else they're registering for. And then they just hit submit. And then we will provide that list to you. So you'll have an Excel spreadsheet of how many people are coming. So if it's 20, is it 30, is it 40, whatever the number is, you'll have that exact list. So we try to make it as seamless and as easy to do as possible.
How many days do you mean if we're ordering the food and that sort of?
Yeah, you can do a cutoff. You can say you want, you might be working with a caterer. And then you want to say, okay, we want a 7-day advance notice, and you just give them a deadline. You must sign up by this date. So you can pick what your deadline is for when you need to know. Some groups have done boxed lunches. Some people just have it catered. We haven't had any pizzas yet. One person did it in a restaurant. So it's completely flexible on what you want to do. We just want it to be workable for you. That our goal is that it's not, we don't want it as difficult. We want it as easy as possible. We know Love Inc. offices and other ministries have a lot going on. So we want to make this, a fairly easy task to do. So, right. Action steps. You would let us know, what you want to do. Do you think a breakfast, brunch, lunch, or dinner would work best? By May 16th, I'll send you the date and say, okay, based on our interest, it looks like I can be in your location on this date. And I will give you that date, and we will work with that date. If you know there's a day of the week that will not work for you, then let me know. If you say, oh, Mondays, we cannot do a Monday, or we can, or something, if you have a day of the week you cannot do it, then tell me that when you let us know. Say we can do, you're available Monday to Friday, or Tuesday to Friday, or Monday to Thursday, whatever you're available for. And then once I have that, and the sooner if I can get that in the next 48 hours or so, that would really help us, because then I'll have a week to kind of work the schedule, massage it, and then make sure I can get back to you. So if you can do that in 48 hours, if that's possible. If you can't do that, let us know that you're going to need more time. So if you can reply, we're interested, and here's what works best, we think we're interested, but we got to get back to you. Or if for some reason there's no, this won't work, let us know. But if that's the case, what we ask is if there's anybody else, it could be a local ministerial network. There's a pastors group that meets once a month in your town, and there's 10 or 15 of them. Anything like that, it will work. Any group that can connect pastors together, we're glad to work with them. And even yourself, I mean, it can be Love Inc., but you may have some local ministerial group and you sponsor it with them. I mean, they can promote this to their people too. They can, get a little notice and put something out to people so we can make something for them. So we're glad to service and serve anybody that wants to promote it for the event. If that makes sense. Hopefully that all makes sense. But we'll give you the date. And then once you let us know the event location and we just finalize the time, we'll make you the graphic and the RSVP online form. All right. And then it's all about, give and send out a save the date invites and reminders. Whenever possible, try to personally invite or even sometimes phone if you have capacity or you have staff or you have volunteers that can help with any of that. We have seen that when there's a personal contact of some kind, in addition to any kind of email maybe that got sent out, that always helped kind of get more people involved. In one town we were at in Louisiana, and I don't know the backstory on this, but the mayor got involved and he goes, well, I'm going to just call the pastors. He said, I want them to come to this. We want to appreciate them. And actually the pastor and his wife made the meal for 75 people. So anyway, that was kind of a cute little story that this mayor called. He was a really wonderful Christian man and did a very nice job. So, but yeah, so you invite people, choose your food provider, whoever that is, host the event, just kind of get there ahead of time and, get things ready to welcome people. And then give me the receipt when the event's over. So that's kind of the flow of the event and how it would work. And then Carolyn and I, we're just here to serve you. I mean, our goal is to bless you and help make you a blessing to people in your community. So pastors are loved and appreciated and encouraged and gifted and all that good stuff. So anyway, so that's the story that we've got, and we are again so grateful for your interest. But yeah, we're glad to answer any questions.
I have another question.
Yep.
On your first email, you mentioned kind of the months when you would be in our general area. And so can we let you know if, 1 month doesn't work for us or that type of thing?
We basically leave August 1st, right? We go August 1st, we go Grand Junction, we go to Salt Lake, we come up into Montana. So we're going to be coming into Montana pretty much the end of the first week of August and the second week of August. I know we're going to be in Spokane the second week of August. So between the first and second week of August, that's when we're going to be in these 3 locations. Then the third week of August, we're going to be in our RV. Then we'll be going over to Washington, down into Oregon. So third and fourth week of August is when we'll likely be here. That's then going to put us in, southern Oregon, and into California and Arizona, pretty much in the month of September. Okay. So these 3 stars here will likely be around the first 2 weeks of September. We obviously will avoid anything with Labor Day, that kind of time. So does that make sense?
It does.
But hopefully that's helpful to all of you to just kind of get a little feel for the flow of what we're doing. And then our goal is back in Denver, October 1. So we have kind of basically August. This half over here is August, and then the lower half over here is into September.
So I just want to make sure I understood it. So you're going to be in the between Seattle and Portland area the 3rd and 4th week of August, right?
Correct. That's correct. Yep.
Okay. Another question. Just give me a range of out-of-pocket expenses. Now, I know you said you'll reimburse up to $1,000.
Yep.
You said.
So what it's been for people in the past. So anything that's food related, if you bought name tags, if you bought if you wanted table decorations, or you bought plates or spoons and cups and drinks and just anything that's kind of associated with that event, that's the $1,000. That the day of the event to put on that event. Yep.
Now, but, okay, what do this average, what is the out-of-pocket expense? What's the average check you're writing?
Oh, it's been anywhere from $400 to $1,000. We had a couple where they actually went to a nicer restaurant, and their ministry chose not a Love Inc. group, but a different group. They went to a nicer restaurant and they took the $1,000 and then they spent more on top of it. But for most people, the $1,000 is covered. And so, for example, if you've got 25 or 30 people there and you spend $25 each, that's like $750 for the event.
One last question. I am just curious.
Yep.
This is part of the National Association of Evangelicals, right?
Correct. Yep. But the movement serves all churches, and any of the appreciation events are for all pastors in your town. So
Right. I'm just curious, and call this my cynical nature.
okay.
Okay. National Association of Evangelicals is funding this. I'm sure it's a significant expense. Why?
Well, actually, it's Lilly Endowment is funding it. So Lilly Endowment is giving money to the National Association of Evangelicals and about 60 other denominations and national groups from all over America, because their research has showed that pastors are in a difficult place and no one is able to speak on their behalf. And so their goal, and they've given away millions and millions to make sure pastors are appreciated, valued, properly compensated. So that's what the goal here is that pastors are loved and appreciated and valued, because American churches are struggling, and COVID didn't help that. So those numbers were pre-COVID. So since COVID, things have gotten worse, especially for the smaller churches. So the goal is that was Lilly Endowment's goal, is to do whatever they could to empower people to bless pastors.
Okay, thank you.
So bless and appreciate pastors. So it's a open-handed agenda. There's nothing that's being sold. There's no donations being collected. This is straight up blessing pastors and equipping people. 1 Thessalonians 5:12 says Christians are to show their deep appreciation for those who minister among them, but that's a lost art, and many churches are not doing that. A lot of this ties into Pastor Appreciation Month in October, but that's why we try to go in August and September to equip churches with the media interviews and so forth, with the materials, so they can do Pastor Appreciation Month, or they can do something around Thanksgiving or Christmas, because we want that 50 ways list to be given out. How do you pray for your pastor? How do you appreciate your pastor? How do you help your pastor and church staff, and take up that offering and bless them around Christmas time? We're in October, and then just love your pastor well. So.
Oh, one final question. Could you send or provide a sample agenda of, it could be from a past event or something, just so I get an idea of all the steps that are involved during the meeting? Yeah.
So I'll send this to you, but this is the basic program right here. They arrive, get the name tag and gift pack, the welcome and prayer, the time to eat and fellowship. Optional is if you want to have a guest speaker, singer, or someone that's the optional is about 20 minutes. I would normally do about 45, then announce the winners at the end, and then have them pray for each other. So
yeah, I would appreciate you sending. I assume this is a PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's a PowerPoint. We'll send it as a PowerPoint. and a PDF and the recording if you need to share this with anybody else. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if you also give an outline for your message.
Yes, I can. And it's actually in a bookmark format. So I can send you that. It's 10 ways God provides. And my materials have been used in over 50 countries and have been used by 30 some denominations and thousands of churches. But I can provide that for you, what kind of the little outline is on my talk. So
one of my questions is there an expectation that who's ever hosting it would send it to all pastors in the region that are in the area that are kind of within those groups you mentioned? Or because our partner church list is a bit smaller than that. Do you know what I mean? So would
well, it's whatever network you've got.
Whatever network we would choose to do it.
Yeah, whatever network you have available to yourself.
Okay.
So because I know like with Love Inc., I mean, I think don't you have to have like 6 core churches to even have a Love Inc.?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have 36 partner churches.
So that's kind of your core group to invite. But
Yeah.
you can say to them, they're welcome to invite others to the event if they want, or however you want to do that. We're just looking for normally at least 20 or more to participate. And also the other thing to say is, so this is for any pastoral staff. So it can be senior, associate pastor, worship pastor, small groups pastor, anyone who's on a pastoral level can be invited. And then again, any spouses that are welcome.
Yeah.
So that's an important distinction to make. I would tend to open it up, and we can even say, if you wanted it like on your reservation form, if you want to say maximum of 50 or maximum of 70 or maximum of 40, we can have a deadline date and a maximum. And when you hit that, we can cut it off. So we can work with you on that. So you don't go like, oh my goodness, this is getting bigger and more difficult than we thought. But we're glad to work with you and customize it to make it work for you. So
Thank you.
So I did see that you listed all the books that you were going to be giving as gifts to the pastors. Do you have that individual list as well that we can review?
So they're all going to get the online version of everything.
Okay.
So they'll get an online version of everything, and they'll get printed copies of 2 or 3 things.
Okay. Is there a availability for us to view one of your choice or whatever of an online book?
Yeah, you'll have a link. The link I'll send you, you'll be able to see everything. So there'll be a link. So say Experiencing God as Your Provider, there'll be a link. Say the 40-day devotional, you'll get a link. Legacy Organizer, you'll get a link. So you can preview anything at all.
And when I know that you were wanting to kind of schedule it by May 16th. So when would we be getting this information packet, including the links? Pretty soon?
Yeah, we'll send those to you the next day or 2.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll do a follow-up email to everybody. It'll have the recording. It'll have the PDF of the handout. It'll have the free gift materials. I'll give an outline to what I'm going to talk about. Yep. So it'll all be there. Well, we are grateful for each of you taking time just to prayerfully consider this. It would be a wonderful privilege to be able to partner with you and just love and bless your pastors in your area. Yeah, that's our greatest goal, is to bless and serve and love pastors, and to be able to do it with you would be a real privilege. And so we'll send you everything. We're available. Any questions, anything you need from us, our goal is to serve you. That's what we want to do. So, okay. Anyone want to volunteer to close in prayer for us?
Yeah, Jesus,
Yeah.
I just come before you, and I'm thankful for this time, and just Brian and Carolyn and what they're giving to this movement to just bless pastors. And God, we would just pray for your direction and discernment on being involved in this. And we just pray for just your provision, Lord, as they're setting out to just do this work of encouragement and support. And we know that that is vitally important for those in ministry. Just ask that we can continue to do our part as different Love Incs and organizations to support our pastors and encourage them to keep up the good fight. So help us keep our eyes fixed on you, Lord. And we're so thankful for your love. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. God bless you all.